Good morning, everyone. My name is Max Hollein, Director of the Metropolitan Museum. And on behalf of myself and our President and CEO, Dan Weiss, I welcome you all here to the press preview of Camp, Notes on Fashion, which opens to the public this Thursday. Exuberant, playful, and outrageous, Camp's aesthetic has had a profound influence on both high art and on popular culture. And as you will see today, more than any art form, fashion embraces this sensibility. And it is indeed Susan Sontag's seminal essay, Notes on Camp, which was written in 1964, which provides the framework for this exhibition and seeks to capture the bold audacity of camp. Sontag said, "To talk about camp is therefore to betray it, as it is subjective sensibility best described by its characteristics: irony, humor, parody, pastiche, duplicity, ambiguity, theatricality, extravagance, and exaggeration." Sontag visited the Met often, where she saw many examples of camp, which she references in the essay's 58 Principles. She saw camp in Tiffany lamps here, in Caravaggio paintings, in Art Nouveau furniture, in pop art. Until Andrew Bolton, our Wendy Yu curator in charge of the Costume Institute, began working on this show, we didn't really see us as particularly camp, but we do now, actually. In fact, what happened to us is we see camp everywhere these days at the museum. So this major exhibition about the world of camp and camp's impact on the world has no shortage of objects, 250. And it features the greatest fashion designs, plus actually art, from 7 curatorial departments of the Met: drawings and prints, photographs, European sculpture and decorative arts, the American wing, the Robert Lehman wing, modern, contemporary, and European paintings all participate in the show. This show truly puts the Met's camp treasures on view in an all-embracing, democratic way, actually, as camp is a great leveler of the arts, putting equal weight on all forms. In the end, maybe even the Met itself is camp, at least for a certain moment in our 150-year-old history. Theater scenographer Jan Versveld, whose work includes Broadway productions like The Crucible and Network, created really an extraordinary 2-part multi-level exhibition design with the support of our Met's design department. And I have to also really give a special shout out to the witty and whimsical headpieces in the show, which were created by millionaire extraordinary Stephen Jones. This, and not to be missed, 2-volume catalog features new photography by Johnny Dufour and camp-defining essay by the Italian academic Fabio Cleto. And this very ambitious exhibition would certainly not have been possible without the important sponsorship of Gucci and its enthusiasm of its creative director Alessandro Michele and its CEO for this project. I thank Alessandro for his advocacy and extend my gratitude to Gucci for their great support. Thank you. We are also deeply grateful to Condé Nast for its continued and generous support, and I want to express our heartfelt gratitude also to the Met Trustee Extraordinaire, and here also Camp Idol, Anna Wintour, for her passion and enthusiasm for the important work of our Costume Institute. We all know that she also organizes quite a party, and tonight she oversees her 21st Met Gala. It's a tremendous fundraising effort on behalf of the museum. Finally, I also want to thank, of course, Andrew Bolton, creator of this show, and Karen van Gotshofen and Amanda Garfinkel and the entire staff of the Met who worked on this show. We hope you enjoy this exhibition and that it entices you to see the art, to see the museum and your surroundings through camp eyes. As Susan Sontag said, camp sees everything in quotation marks, and we look forward to reading and hearing how you define it. Next, you will hear from Alessandro Michele, in Italian, so feel free to use your simultaneous translation headsets if needed. And afterwards, you will hear from Andrew Bolton, who will tell you more about his vision of camp as an aesthetic and a cultural phenomenon. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Salve a tutti, buongiorno, grazie per essere qui. È un giorno importante perché quando Anna e Andrew durante una colazione mi hanno mostrato l'idea della nuova esibizione per il Metropolitan, io sono stato molto contento di essere stato contattato per diciamo, venire in aiuto ad una parola che era così tanto vicina al mio vivere quotidiano. È meraviglioso che in un momento come questo, e io parlerei anche di politica, due persone così lungimiranti come Anna e Andrew abbiano pensato di dare spazio a una parola così potente. È una parola bellissima perché ci insegna nella banalità di poche lettere quanto sia importante sentirci liberi di dare parola a noi stessi attraverso il nostro vestiario. È bellissimo come Andrew ieri abbia saputo dare, secondo me, spazio in maniera davvero ossigenante alla parola e alla descrizione del fenomeno attraverso un excursus che non parla solo di vestiti, ma parla anche di vite. Io, attraversando le sale, ho capito che lì dentro c'era veramente un messaggio sociale e politico, la libertà di vivere e di essere come si vuole essere. Io sono felice perché sin da bambino sono stato molto fantasioso, come diceva mia nonna, un ragazzo e un ragazzino pieno di energia e volevo fare come dicevo io, volevo mettere quello che a me piaceva di più. Oggi chi mi ha permesso di essere anche così e di nuovo così è il mio presidente, che è Marco Bizzarri. Ha fatto in modo che il marchio per cui lavoriamo diventasse anche lui a sua volta non solo una boutique, ma un luogo dove trovare spazio alla propria espressione e creatività. Io non voglio aggiungere altro, voglio ringraziare tutti quelli che hanno lavorato sul progetto, e i nostri uffici anche, perché il progetto per il Metropolitan, lavorare sul Met, è un'impresa non facile, però è una missione bellissima, e quindi io ringrazio ancora una volta Anna, Andrew e tutti quanti, e spero che stasera, e sono sicuro, sarà una grande serata. Grazie a tutti.
Good morning. Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you, Max, and thank you, Anna. Since we announced the exhibition in September, the two most common questions I've been asked are, why did we choose camp as a theme, and what is camp? The answer to the first question is relatively straightforward. We're experiencing a resurgence of camp, not just in fashion, but in culture in general. Camp tends to come to the fore when, during moments of social and political instability, when our society is deeply polarized. The 1960s was one such moment, as were the 1980s, and so too are the times in which we're living. Camp is by its very nature subversive. It reacts with and against public opinion, confronting and challenging the status quo. The second question, what is camp, is more difficult to answer. The cultural historian Andrew Medhurst once said that trying to define camp is like attempting to sit in the corner of a circular room. Its elusiveness translates into a virtually limitless corpus of references. Examples spring from any time and any place, and from all aspects of life, including art, film, music, sports, and of course politics. Mark Booth's Encyclopedia of Camp, which was published in 1984, includes the following examples: Alexander the Great, Coco Chanel, Leonardo da Vinci, David Hockney, Mick Jagger, Louis XV, Michelangelo, Bette Midler, Paul Poiret, John Singer Sargent, and the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. As Booth mentions in his introduction, examples of camp are infinite and inexhaustible. In fact, the principle of endless listing may well be camp's definitive characteristic. The exhibition is our attempt to sit in the corner of a circular room. It's organized into two sections. The first traces the etymological origins of camp, and the second explores the camp aesthetic as it's reflected in fashion. Camp's elusiveness is compounded by the fact that it works as all parts of speech. It's at once a verb, an adjective, and a noun. The first part of the show addresses this move across grammatical boundaries, beginning with its usage as a verb in the court of Louis XIV, its employment as an adjective in the gay underworld of Victorian England, and its application as a noun in the early 20th century, after camp first entered the hallowed space of a dictionary in 1909. The entry read, "Actions and gestures of exaggerated emphasis, used by persons of exceptional want of character." The first part of the exhibition is narrated by Rupert Everett, who recently played Oscar Wilde in the film The Happy Prince. After his trial for acts of gross indecency and subsequent imprisonment, Wilde came to epitomize the dictionary definition of camp. In the show, Rupert's voice intersects with Judy Garland's camp anthem Over the Rainbow. The galleries are deliberately claustrophobic, with narrow corridors and low ceilings to emphasize the secretive, clandestine nature of camp's origins. Effectively, they serve as whispering galleries, both physically and metaphorically. The galleries start to open up with camp's move from the margins of society to the mainstream. This begins with Christopher Isherwood's discussion of camp in his 1954 essay, The World in the Evening, and continues with Susan Sontag's Notes on Camp, published 10 years later. Sontag was the first writer to explore camp as a serious subject, one worthy of critical and cultural analysis. She presents camp as a sensibility and catalogues it in the form of 58 notes. In the exhibition, these notes are typed out in real time on video monitors like a Jenny Holzer installation. They're illustrated with objects from the Met's collection, which Sontag was intimately acquainted. Essentially, Sontag herself curates the selection of objects, which include Tiffany lamps, the paintings of Caravaggio, and the illustrations of Aubrey Beardsley. In her essay, Sontag presents an opposition between naive camp and deliberate camp. She considers naive camp to be unconscious and unintentional, and deliberate camp to be calculated and manufactured. For Sontag, the essential element of naive camp is a seriousness that fails. This concept is explored in a gallery that serves as a bridge between the first and second parts of the exhibition. On display are examples of fashions that epitomize naive camp, juxtaposed with examples that exemplify deliberate camp. Introducing the selection is Ferragamo's iconic rainbow sandal, designed for Judy Garland, set alongside a shoe with a multicolored platform by Alessandro for Gucci. Sontag actually only offers two examples of fashion in her essay, women's clothes of the 20s and a woman walking around in a dress made of 3 million feathers. However, she asserts that camp has an affinity for certain arts rather than others, citing fashion as an example. In the second part of the exhibition, we explore this affinity through a selection of 130 fashions and accessories that date from the 1980s to the present. They're organized under 18 statements and communicate key aspects of the camp sensibility as articulated by Sontag, as well as other scholars of camp criticism that came afterward. Within these groupings, each ensemble is accompanied by a comment that speaks to the multifaceted nature of camp. These comments are spoken aloud by the designers in the exhibition, giving the impression of an echo chamber. While experienced as a cacophony, they underscore the fact that camp is a site of debate rather than consensus. Every few minutes, the comments are interrupted by Judy Garland singing Over the Rainbow. In the first part of the show, we play the version she sang as a 16-year-old in The Wizard of Oz, while in the second, we play a version she sang only months before she passed away from an overdose. At her funeral, the actor James Mason commented, "Judy's great gift was that she could wring tears out of hearts of stone. She gave so richly and so generously that there's no currency in which to repay her." Mason's comment points to the essential spirit of camp, its generosity and munificence. As Sontag observed in her essay, camp is, above all, a mode of enjoyment, of appreciation, not judgment. In the end, the ultimate purpose of camp is to put a smile on our faces and a warm glow in our hearts. Thank you.